has anyone started doing it? Because I'm going to show you the structure that I could use. I just wanted to see what you guys could come up with because that's what everyone chose like last week. Did anyone do anything on their requirements?
Yes.
On Jira?
Yes, on Jira.
Would you like to share?
Sorry, let me just quickly switch because I'm on my phone right now. Let me just quickly switch on my laptop.
Okay. Thank you. And then Sano, so basically what happens in projects, right? We first start with a business case. That's when we do like an overview of what the project is, the cost, what is the benefit. Then we go into requirements gathering. So requirements gathering is what each person from the project wants to happen. So it would be such, if you're having, let's say, a cake business, right? You will say, as a baker, I want to be able to bake a cake. Whereas as someone who buys the cakes, you would say, as a client, I want to be able to choose between, I don't know, cake flavors. Choose between, I don't know, cake flavors. Choose between, I don't know. Anytime that happens, I'm like, oh my God. Can you hear my voice back feedback? And I'm like, oh. Beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then what we will do is after, I'm going to show you guys some how I would set it up. And to be fair, it will be so funny because if you was from Project One, you'll see the difference. And that's how we do, right? We grow as we go, we get ideas. So we'll have a look at your template as an example. We'll go through my template and how I would set it up. And then by Friday, everyone will have to, maybe let's say by Thursday, everyone will send in their requirements gathering. From those requirements gathering, we're gonna go into next week. So we're gonna have a session. I'm gonna invite Abdul as well to kick it off. We're gonna have essentially a session where we break into those different groups. So using your requirements gathering, we'll see what teams are needed, right? So we'll probably have a sponsorship team. So all the people that go and look after sponsorships, we'll probably have, let's say, day of the event team, right? So those people that overlook all the activities from day on the day. So it's like we'll have all these different groups, and from there we'll break you up into the groups next session.
Do you want me to share my screen now?
Yes, please. You
might be able to. I don't know if you can see it now.
Sorry, it's still. Yes, sorry. Yes, I can see.
Okay. So we did. I did break it down into epics and user stories. So we've got it's loading up. So this is one of the epic, which is called the Summit Content and Program Design. And under it, we've got just about 3. Of course, there should be more user stories, but we've just got 3 at the moment. So the first user story on the Summit Content is as a PWTO PM, project manager, I want keynote sessions on project management trends and career strategies so that I can gain inspiration and forward-thinking insights. Of course, we would have acceptance criteria later, but based on the task for now.
Yeah.
And then this is another user story, which is, so I did it as different users. So one is as the project manager, this is as a summit attendee. So as a summit attendee, I want interactive project-based workshops, for example, and on requirement gathering, so that I can apply skills immediately and build my portfolio. And I
Yeah.
think this is based on the attendee as well again. So as the summit attendee, I want employer engagement sessions so that I can build connections and improve my employability.
Oh,
So,
well done. Well done, team. Okay, yes. So that was the main things we wanted, right? We wanted the different stakeholder groups. So as a PM, as a attendee you had as well, right? That was really cool. You clearly stated what we want and why, which makes the team understand why we want to do it and what needs to be done. So I like that, team. Well done. I like that.
thank
I
you.
like that.
Yeah,
No. How
yeah.
did you find using Jira?
Yeah, it was all right. I just went on YouTube
Yeah,
to just help with my knowledge again. And
yeah.
yeah, I was able to remember how to do the epics and yeah.
Nice. No,
And
well
because we
done.
had previously used Jira for the previous task that you gave us before. So if you can
Mm-hmm.
see here, we had like different the task that you gave us previously.
Mm-hmm.
So we had assigned the task to like different members of the team.
Oh, nice. So you
So
had your
yeah.
business case basically in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, did you find it easier to track the progress and know who's doing what and not over duplicating work?
Exactly. Yeah. So if you see here, we had some tasks that has been already done here. They've been marked as done here. That's why they've been crossed out.
Yeah.
So we know that this person, because we were able to assign it to specific people.
Mhm.
So and they mark it as done when they were
Yeah. No,
working.
well done, team. That's really good. That's really good. So then your next step is obviously I don't, but then I feel like I saw it somewhere, like, the prioritization, the must have, could have, should have, won't have.
Yeah. I don't think we did prioritize. Did we do any
No?
prioritization?
Or
I don't
maybe
think
because
we
it said
did.
medium priority, I just assumed.
Yes, here, yeah. I think here
Yeah.
we had, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, well, to be fair, if you guys wanted to keep it, but usually we just do must have, should have, could have, won't have. So
Mm,
then it's like,
mm,
everyone will have a bunch of requirements and we could do it. And then just separating functional versus non-functional. And like you said,
mhm,
adding the criteria. But I feel like
mm,
you understand, right? Like why we're doing requirements gathering. I feel like you understand that we need to have different stakeholder groups. And I feel like you
mhm,
understand that you need to write it in a way, I want this because of this. So I
mhm.
feel like you're grasping the concept and you know exactly what the exercise is for.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. No, well done, team. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Hey, stop. And hopefully as well, it allows you now to start seeing, like, I can comfortably say I can use Jira for your interviews, right? And that was a big thing
Yes.
for some of the Project One people as well. The fact that they have a project management tool on the place, their confidence grew, their, everything for them. So well done, team. Really good. Well
Thank you.
done. Well done. I'm impressed. Well done. Did anyone else have any requirements gathering to show us or to talk about the journey? How has it been? If you don't have the Jira board yet, how's it been working on the team on it? Do you understand why we're doing it? What's the goal of it? No? Okay, perfect.
Hello, Miss. Can I ask some question?
Of course, Anna.
Actually, I just joined this community by yesterday, so actually I do not know anything about this, the community, the requirement and anything. So for like simply, what should I do in this
So,
community?
so I'm gonna share a link. Under that link, there's a tab called Project 2. Under that project too, there will be different videos that we went through, different sessions. You can watch it and see the overview that we had for the document. So if you catch up on those sessions, it will start making sense. And what I'll do with everyone that came from Abdul's group yesterday, I'll do a separate session for us to sort of catch you up to speed. But if you use that tracker, but there's project one and project two, use project two because this is project two. Go into that. And if you start watching videos and catching up on it, you'll be able to understand what's happening. Yeah, because I mean, I just don't want to overcomplicate everyone else's brains as well and go through it. Or maybe at the end as well, we can stay on and they'll go through it just so people who do understand it don't have to, re-listen to the whole thing again. Yeah, perfect. Let's do it. I think Amarachi had her hand up as well. Then you put it down.
Yeah, hi, Jay. I just wanted to say yes, we did something as a group in Team Elevation, and we had actually put it on Jira. But then when we had a meeting last night, like a brainstorming meeting, like a final brainstorming meeting, we just it came to us that we needed to, because of the document you put out about having requirement gatherings. While requirement gatherings are invalid most times in the real world, is because people do it based on assumptions instead of getting first-hand information from like the stakeholders. So what we did, we identified the stakeholders. So we identified the stakeholders as the project delivery team, the sponsors, the marketing team, and we identified several, I think about 7. And we gathered some requirements from there. But yesterday we're like, we need to have a meeting with you. It's better if we get first-hand information from you and put out surveys for like attendees and all that. But we have our information on Jira.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, and I think that's one of the big lessons, right? For every group, you basically on a project, you need to have a meeting with them. Because how, either meeting or communication, because how are you going to find out what your stakeholders need if you don't talk to them, right? Rather than assuming. So that's like a good, important lesson throughout this. And we usually have as well, like, so usually these are the users that we have. We have business. So the people that will be paying for it, running it. We have the user. So that will be the attendees. And you might have other ones as well, right? So it's interesting to see that you guys are breaking out by like PM and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to tell you stop for now. I want to see how that goes and how that breaks down. But you do it by per business and then different areas. So even let's say in business, we would have the HR team, we can have the marketing team, we can have the financial team giving their requirements, right? Then you might have the users. Throughout the users, there might be, is it the speakers? Is it the attendees? Is it the recruiters? So well, that was probably one of the most important lessons that you could have learned, right? That you do need to speak. How are you supposed to get requirements if you don't speak to people? So we basically even call them requirements gathering workshops. Yeah. Okay, no, well done, team. All right, let me know if anyone else has any observations for how the team's been going. But again, I think like you guys are understanding the concept, right? Why are we doing it? You even saw that, we started doing it. It wasn't making much sense. So that's what's more important than completing the requirements gathering. Even like the business case. The business case wasn't really about the business case and the template. I can get ChatGPT to fill out a template in a heartbeat, right? It's not about that. It's, did you ask for clarification? Did you collaborate with people? Did you assume stuff? Did you make up facts? Or did you end up going and doing research for it, right? That's what business case exercise is supposed to teach you, not how to write a freaking business template. Everyone can write a freaking business template. Of course, then you have to go into certain level of detail for certain things, especially the financial and the benefits. But that is the lesson from business case. And it's the same with requirements gathering. The biggest thing is actually not completing the requirements gathering, but understanding the journey, understanding that there needs to be different users and stakeholder groups, understanding that we need to prioritize it, understand it that we need to communicate with them to get it. So this is what like this whole work experience is supposed to teach you guys, rather than just how to complete templates, because completing templates is not enough in the business world. So these are some good lessons. Okay, beautiful. Let's go. So I'm going to show you now an example of how you could also set up how you could also set up business requirements in Jira, right? I liked Rafiet's one as well. It just physically you had to go and search stuff, right, to really get the information. Again, as a project manager, if that works for you, why not? But that could take potentially some time. So this is how this is how we could set it up. Wow, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Why isn't it letting me do it? I don't understand. I don't understand. What's happening? What's happening? What? Okay, you'll need to create a new space if you decide to change. Okay. Okay, we're just a little glitchy. And for anyone that doesn't know yet, this is basically Jira. It's one of the project management tools that we use to manage our tasks and projects, basically. It was actually made for software projects, essentially, because software projects work in those iterations and everything, but now it's become a tool for all of us. There is sessions as well in the links that if you guys want to have a look how to use it. Okay, so first what I would do is I do want to have an assignee. And I want to remove this. So essentially this is what I would want to see in my requirements gathering. Again, we definitely didn't go into this much detail on project one. So I feel like one is a lesson that as you do more of these, you're going to get ideas, you're going to get better structure, you're going to get an understanding how to do it. But remember, the main thing we want to know is what is the requirement, who is it for, and the priority. And you can even actually physically have dates if you wanted to, but we usually don't. So let's do an example, right? As an epic, one of the epics would be confidence boost. Remember that was one of the biggest strategies. Or is that overcomplicating it? Should I do something simpler? Let's say reaching attendees. After reaching attendees, what I want to put in, I'm going to delete a lot of these columns. I was going to do it before you guys joined, but I was like, you know what? Hopefully you seeing my thought process. So you can have assignee in the sense of if there's specific people who are going to be overlooking and making sure that requirement happens, you can assign them on this. So then it makes it easier for you to get progress. And right now we have a lot of requirements on the project that technically were there, but it kind of just didn't happen, right? However, if we had this in a way in our requirements to know who's looking after each requirement, it then gives us a person to ask updates for. So usually I don't put who would own the requirements, but from the journey that I've been having over the last few months, I think if you know who should look after the requirements, makes it easier for you to ensure that requirement happens. Does that make sense? So never really put it in before. Now, because even when I'm looking at it, they're like, we don't own it, we don't own it. So that way you at least know who would own it. And then what another thing, put that, don't care for resolution. All of these are normal. I don't really actually created, let me tell you why I would leave it for requirements gathering from the lessons that I've had. Created basically automatically shows you when you did the requirement. So essentially you could basically have this as evidence to see when it was created, because sometimes people are like, I didn't agree to this. If you have the created column, it allows you to be like, well, look, this got created on March 7th at 12:24. Let's go and see, is there a meeting that we had or something like that, right? Updated, I don't really care for updated, to be fair, for requirements gathering. Due date, I feel like, again, it would be useful. It's the same thing as an assignee. If someone tells you the requirement will be fulfilled by the 20th of September, it allows you to know when you should ask them, hey, is it done, right? However, these are not mandatory fields. These are fields that the problems that I'm having currently, I feel like would have allowed us to have a smoother transition, right? Remember, the main thing is it's just requirements, who submitted a requirement, and priority, right? But all of these extras, like I said, it's just making me feel like I could do it. Am I making sense? Do you have any observations? No? Okay, beautiful. So another thing what we could do, rather than having to constantly write, oh, but I want to move it. Can I move it? Move to the right. No, I need it to the left. To the first position. Beautiful. Ah, but work stays the same. Okay, whatever. So in the stakeholder column, what we could basically put is the different users, right? Business, attendees, speakers. We also had someone actually mention recruiters in theirs, and I was like, that is really good. We could have sponsors, right? Sponsors, I mean, within the business, let's say if we wanted to break it down, we could break it down between me and Abdul, right? But essentially what you want to say is, this is the stakeholder that has provided the requirement, right? So we could say, this is a business requirement, right? As we're going through this, reaching attendees, one of them would be, I want to advertise the event. And this will be from the business perspective, right? Because we want to advertise the event. Whereas we could say reaching attendees is, oh, go away. And change it to story. I want to be able to know the benefits of the event, so I join, or something like this, right? Because actually, did you see that? I didn't even say I want to advertise the event so we can reach, let's say, 500 attendees. Now here we can put that this is a attendee requirement. So can you see we made our life a little bit easier, so we don't have to constantly all the time say, as a business, I want to do this. As a attendee, I want to do this. So you do have an option of doing that. Again, if you want to physically write, as a business, I want to do this, and then group them together, that's possible. But I found this way to be a little bit more efficient. As we said, assignee, I might want to do an assignee to know who will be responsible for doing these. You might not be able to do it at this stage. So usually what happens is we gather the requirements from everyone. As a business, we prioritize the requirements and what we think is important. If we have to go back and revisit and prioritize it with everyone, we will do. But then we take those requirements to get accepted by different people who will be overlooking those requirements. So for example, here, I want to advertise the event so we can reach 500 attendees. This would have to sit with the marketing team. So technically, after we do the whole prioritization, I can assign it to the marketing team to basically know that this is the marketing team that's going to be overlooking that requirement. Like I said, we don't usually do it, but my lessons learned from the experience that I'm having, I feel like that could have avoided me a lot of problems. So again, these are some additional columns, but I found, like, I really believe they would have made a big difference. Then of course, status, right? If you want to change the status to different, that it allows you to track them, because I think you should track your requirements as you go, because essentially you might end up not doing some of the requirements or forgetting them. Also track the progress of it. So it looks like some of our requirements is the team kind of said they weren't able to do the requirement. However, it was still a must-have. So what should have happened is they should have went and found another way to do the requirement, but they left it at we can't do the requirement. And now we're like, where's the requirement? They're like, we can't do it. But because it was a must-have, they would have had to go and find a different way to do it. So that's why, again, now I would track. I would definitely track. I would say created just allows us to basically see when it happened. Due date would have to know, you know, by what time do we want this requirement to be in place? As we mentioned as well, we want to prioritize stuff, right? So you want to do another drop down. And we can name it prioritization. It's prioritization. Guys, don't judge me. Have you ever seen people get paid and then you spell it? You're like, how the hell did you even get that job? Spelling is not important for lads. So from prioritization, remember we're going to use the Moscow technique. Any of these, if you're not sure, if you reread through the requirements document that I shared, you'll be able to understand everything, what it means. But with Moscow prioritization, essentially, it's must have, could have, no, must have, should have, could have, won't have. So anything that is your stakeholder says it's a must have, you're going to have to do it, no choice. Anything that's like a could have, it's like it should be nice to do it. Usually in real life, it becomes must have versus nice to have. And the teams will like, especially finance, will be like, but is that a must have or is it nice to have? Anything nice to have, you can basically forget getting funding for. I actually even put into the thing like, am I just coming from toxic projects? Do people actually get to deliver nice haves and should haves and could haves? Because every project that I've been on, they squeeze the money so much that it's only must haves. So from your perspective, if you know something is very important for the project, you need to make sure that that comes across as a must have. If especially finance get a little feeling that this is a nice to have, trust me, that nice to have is going to the backlog. However, like I said, maybe I just come from toxic projects. Maybe there is projects out there that allow you to do your nice to haves and could haves and should haves. So I think we should also go on a journey to find someone. Like imagine how fun would it be to deliver nice to haves for your project, right? But usually we don't have enough time, we don't have enough budget, and we don't have enough people working on it. So trust me, it's like you can barely even complete the must-haves, let alone nice-to-haves. Yeah, so then with this prioritization, it allows us to know what is really a must-have for the project. We could have must-have, would have. And remember, you see how I'm editing these drop-downs? Oh, it should have first. Must have, should have, could have, won't have. So essentially, when you're using Jira, you can turn these into drop downs for whatever you want, right? So hopefully that's another thing that you're getting from this is the fact that this prioritization column can say anything you need it for your project. Anything that you find useful, you can have it in there. So then what we'll do is start prioritizing these with our stakeholders, right? And if your stakeholders don't confirm it's a must have, should have, could have, you need to be like, hey, so is this a must have? So overall, this epic is of course a must have, right? This, I want to be able to know the benefits is also a must have. If they don't know benefits, they're not going to buy the event. This, I want to advertise the event is also a must have. Whereas something that could be should have is, I don't know, can you guys think of any should haves? It's like we don't need to do it, but we could do it. Maybe let's say informing schools or something. Informing schools. Wait, let's rephrase it. I want to inform schools so their students can oh, actually, this will be a good one. Let me tell you why this is going to be a won't have. I want to inform schools that so the students can get the knowledge. The reason this is going to be I won't have, because anyone that's under the age of 18, guys, it becomes a pickle. It becomes a pickle. You have to be really careful what you say. You have to be really careful how to articulate. You already know. Your girl, I spoke at school not too long ago, and it made me realize how my vocabulary is just like, it's such a thin line of what you can and you can't say to school kids, right? That you have to be really careful. So at this point, I don't think I want school kids to be informed about this, because we have to do the due diligence to ensure we really, and to be fair, anytime you do stuff with anyone under the age of 18, it becomes a whole, and it makes sense, right? It's safeguarding, it's babies, we have to protect them. But for this one, that's why actually this would not be a won't have, right? However, you could actually have another column called backlog. Or, yeah, you could have another column called backlog. So essentially what happens sometimes, we might not have time to do all of the requirements. However, maybe that could be a cool requirement for next year or another part of your project. So you could basically have a backlog. Backlog is anything that we didn't deliver in the project that we will try to deliver if we have some time or in another project. So you could just have yes, no. And essentially with this is also another little, this is like, let's say it's not necessary, but then it becomes your life easier. And also it can make your stakeholders feel like you're listening to them. So it could be one of those, okay, we can't do it right now, but I'm going to put it in a backlog so we can consider it if we get the resources or for our next project. That saying that to your stakeholder makes them feel like their requirement isn't just thrown out the window. It's like, we acknowledge that you have this requirement. We don't have time or money to do this requirement, or it doesn't go into our scope. But thank you so much for this great idea. We're going to put it into the backlog and revisit it when we get more resources or for the next project. Do you understand what the backlog is, and how is that a nice way to not lose some of the cool ideas and make your stakeholders feel heard? Yeah. Okay, so what is a backlog? Does anyone want to tell me what is a backlog?
Can I answer? A backlog, from what you explained just now, is your is like your stakeholder mentioned it, but it's not a definite. It's not something we're going to do now. It's still something we're contemplating on in the future for future
Yeah.
purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, well done. And that's really what it is, right? And then afterwards, what we can basically do is filter this on the backlog. Anything that says yes, we create a whole new document called requirements backlog. And we can revisit that backlog at some point to see like, maybe this requirement is a must-have now, So that's actually what you should have. So that's another reason why I encourage you to mark what is a backlog, what's not a backlog. Because when you have to get the whole backlog requirements document, your life just becomes, let's filter it through and see, right? I mean, automatically, like I said, if your business only delivers must-haves, you already know that anything that's a could have, should have, won't have will automatically go into the backlog anyway. So that's why we kind of do it. So now if I open this up, and I would put this Yes, in a backlog. I mean, you don't need to even to put no, because when you filter it or based on backlog. Oh, they updated something? Where is backlog? Am I going crazy? Why would it do that to me? Okay, what? Okay, hey, go through the groups. So can you see how we group backlog? It allowed us to just see, yes, as which item is there. So it becomes easier for you to extract it and pile. So that's another reason why I recommend having a backlog on it. Two. And then the last bit that we spoke about is acceptance criteria. I would put a paragraph, acceptance criteria. So now you can do that in two different ways. For acceptance criteria, I could put it here. For acceptance criteria, you could either have acceptance criteria per epic and basically just say at the end, so reaching attendees, we probably could have something like, oh, is it not going to let me do it? Oh, they're not letting me write it now. Okay, so it's got it here, but Jira lately has been bugging out. They need to put it on the bug list. Because can you see you can add acceptance criteria basically, obviously through individuals. And that's another way. If you guys haven't noticed, I prefer to work through the list view. I've noticed Rafia went through the individuals. There's not right or wrong way. It's just whatever your preference really is. So I'm sure Rafia would be like, oh, that's fine. I'll go in there. Me as a person who uses list, that just irked me. So why would you not just let me write in it? Ugh. Okay, so long story short, let's try another column. Like I hate when Jira does these little things. Like I love Jira, but what about short text? Let's just put it in place, see. Because even my okay, it's working. Because even my prioritization, actually, you know, the one that says medium and low that you guys saw Rafit use, for some reason it's not working anymore on my Jira. So I think Jira is bugging out. So as you saw, the long text, but I'm assuming maybe long text didn't also work because you know long text is supposed to be long. So this short text, now that we have acceptance criteria, let me change it to acceptance criteria actually. Because I only called it this because we already had acceptance criteria, so it would not let me do the same column. So yeah, now, like I said, you got two options, right? You can either just have accept per each epic, so you could say marketing plan. Marketing plan, customer profiles, because you see how we went through here. I want to advertise, I don't want to advertise to school. We could say customer profiles. We could say comms plan, you know? So this way, you basically know for you to ensure we have reached the attendees and had that requirement, we need to have marketing plan, customer profiles, and comms plan to get all of these included in there, right? Because why? When we say I want to advertise events so I can reach 500 attendees, of course, that's going to have to be part of marketing, isn't it? because if that's not part of marketing, how are we going to reach it? So then this way you actually know that marketing plan, customer profiles, and comms plan automatically has to be in your plan at some point to complete it. So that's what requirements gathering really gives. It gives us what the stakeholders need for the project from different perspectives and the prioritization of it. But then it gives us the acceptance criteria, so we can really ensure we include these things in our plan, because this is how we will ensure to meet this requirement of reaching attendees. Does that make sense? Yeah, beautiful. Okay, and then the last column that we could have in here is, and you could even do it as a label if you wanted to, really. Functional, functional versus non-functional. And in these labels, to be fair, labels, you'll be able to actually use that all across different as well. So actually, if I have a label in here that's the same label in my other board, it then allows me to everything together. So labels are a good way if you're working against different projects. So if you also wanted to, the way you could break this down is you could have created a different board throughout different stakeholder. So you might have had business requirements gathering, attendee requirements gathering, but because you have these labels, you'll basically be able to press on the label that says functional requirements, and it'll bring it together from all the different boards. So that's why labels actually are nice, because you can do that to connect stuff outside your board as well. So again, if you didn't want to do it like this through the different stakeholder groups, you can basically create those different stakeholder groups in the different boards. There's no right or wrong way to approach it. It's your preference and your stakeholders' preferences as well, actually. So for this one, where's the label? We bring it to the top as well. And even as like before. And what you can add, new label, functional, non-functional. What? Labels can't have spaces. Okay. Non-functional. However, you see how I just had to pre-type that? What do you think the risk is of your team having to pre-type stuff? Anyone?
Like to misspell it?
Exactly. So of course, when you click on it, they might just click on it, but that says recent labels. If I was in another board using different labels, my recent labels wouldn't show these labels. So if someone starts spelling it and spells it as non-functionality, when you filter stuff based on your word, it actually might be different. And I did actually have that in one program where we use labels to separate. So within a project, there's going to be different work streams, right? We use labels to separate the different work streams. Then if we can realize that one work stream is using like 3 different ways, what can you do to that? Communication and awareness to the team. Sorry, to sneeze. Bless me. So yeah, that's the risk that you have when you start bringing in pre-type stuff. But again, obviously, as I'm typing non-functional, it does appear. So it's 50-50. So with that one, you just have to communicate to your team effectively. And you also need to double check, right? So what I would do is I would go through these and just check. Did anyone maybe enter functionally instead of functional? You know, it's like becomes like a quality check. So just to regroup on it, we basically have what the requirement is. we have the stakeholder, so it makes it easy to group and filter the stakeholders. We have the prioritization. We have whether it's functional versus non-functional. Then we have the acceptance criteria for the epic. Of course, if you guys want to break it down per story, you also can, but it makes it easier if you just get one, right? However, if you have it per story, it allows you not to be ambiguous. It allows you to really know, okay, so I want to know the benefits on the event and join. Here, the functional the acceptance criteria could be like, why is it not freaking? You see what I mean? Crashing. So do let me know when you guys are using it. Is your Jira crashing the way mine is? Because why did it let me edit this but not this? Like, but then you can basically go through individually and add the acceptance criteria here. So test. So what's this benefits? You might just have benefits for attendees list. But if we go back, and go down, you'll have this benefits for attendees list, which again, oh, see, now it's working. So yeah, if Jira crashes out, just go through individually. So the reason why this becomes easier is because, well, I know part of comms plan and stuff, we need to know benefits for attendees list, but you see how we didn't add it individually. So there's two options that you have: acceptance criteria per epic, but then you really need to ensure it doesn't miss out any of the stories acceptance criteria and you group it. Or you basically just go and do acceptance criteria, even story per story, right? Or you can turn tasks into acceptance criteria, right? So we could have create a benefits list. You could even say review is the benefits are needed for attendees. Or we could even first do find out what benefits. This way, I feel like it becomes easier, right? Because you just go click, 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 click. However, these are the tasks that would actually be part of our plan. So that's another way that requirements gathering is not a plan. So we don't want to go into too much detail, because imagine someone having to go and amend this constantly. So you could just have benefits for attendees as one, right? As the acceptance criteria. Benefits for benefits for attendees as the acceptance criteria, only one. But these three tasks would actually be part of your plan, right? Or if it was easier for you to write it down, and you could basically be like from your stakeholders, so what would you need to see for this to be complete? And if they start saying, yeah, benefits for attendees, I want you to review list, still write it down, but just know that it lives in the plan. So requirements gathering is not how we will do the requirements or how we will get there, which kind of this is. Find out benefits, review the benefits are needed. That's like this, that's the how. We don't really care about the how. This is still the what. This is like what each stakeholder needs, what is the priority of each stakeholder, and what is the acceptance criteria for that requirement. Then we take those requirements and we turn it into the plan, which is the how we get into. So business case, think of it as getting approval for the project to really start going and to start having like a rough idea what we want the project to be. Requirements gathering really shows you the what from each perspective of the stakeholder. And then the plan shows us how we will get there. So can you see every part of the project has a different benefit to the project? So that's basically how you could address it. to be fair, again, Rafia's stuff basically had a lot of these apart from prioritization and acceptance criteria, right? So if they prefer to work that way, that's up to them. But for me right now, I could easily extract this whole board, filter it, and send it to the team and be like, from business, this is the requirement. This is the prioritization. This is only the must-haves. Oh, here, by the way, this is the backlog. Whereas because they put it into the comments, it's like someone would basically have to go through the comment, extract it, and do an analysis for it, which is not bad. But can you see this way? It's like we make ourselves a little bit more efficient. So we got like 3 more minutes. Does anyone have any questions on requirements gathering? I'm really proud how we broke it down. Daphne, this is much better than, is she still here? This is much better than Project 1, right? I really like how I broke it down for Project 2.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more direct.
Right, more direct. So thank you for Project 1 for sacrificing dealing with some pain points as a pilot to learn these things, because I can see the difference in Project 2, the information that you guys get, the skill. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. So was that, did I give you a better understanding of requirements gathering and sort of how you could set it up? Bear in mind, most of the time this stuff is in Excel. So if this was in Excel, you basically just you can do the same columns in Excel. So just think everything that we do in Jira, you can easily create that in Excel, right? So yeah, you just have to replicate the names and the ideas. So that is our requirements gathering. What we'll do is you'll submit your requirements gathering by, I think I'll say Thursday. So on Friday, I can review them. On Saturday, Abdul is going to join us, and we are going to divide these requirements gathering into different project teams. You're going to choose which team you want to be part of. From that, you basically going to go into the planning stage. From the planning stage, you will basically start providing status reports, managing risks, tracking KPIs. So don't be scared, but all of this will link into it and make it much easier. So the way it will work, this requirements gathering will be the last exercise that you do with your current group. We then basically create project teams based on the teams that we're going to need to achieve these requirements. So yeah, hey Marachi.
Hi G. I just wanted to ask, for the requirement gathering document, do we submit it in Excel version or?
So I wanted to see it in Jira.
Okay, we've got Jira. All right.
Get to see it in Jira just so people get comfortable with using Jira.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah. All right, then, my lovely. So hopefully that provided you some more clarity. Hopefully, like I said, you guys weren't far off. You was getting the information, and you started building your skeletons. So well done. We're gonna get cut off in like a few seconds, I think, because the whole 1 hour thing. So yeah, I'll share the recording with you guys. So by Thursday, please do share your requirements gathering with me. And next week, we go into the fun stage of dividing ourselves into the project teams. In the project teams, you're going to have one project manager. They're going to rotate every 2 weeks, so everyone gets an opportunity. I'm probably going to have a project planner in each team as well to really ensure that they help with the plans and overlook the plans and the progress of it. Anything else, we can have a look. If the team feels like we want to have more roles, we can. But with roles then becomes, well, you're going to have to make sure that you act as that role, right? So, okay then, beautiful. Have a lovely week. Thank you for your time. And do let me know if this doesn't make sense, right? I do not want you to go to the next phase if you don't understand what is the need for this or why we are doing this. Because some of the questions that I'm getting at this stage, I'm like, oh, this should have been like a week 1 question, right? Do not suffer in silence. We're always here to provide guidance. If you're not sure, ask for clarity. Do not assume. A lot of the problems that came from the business cases was assumptions. Clarity, that's the most probably important thing in project management world. So if you do have any questions, yeah, let me know. Thank you, my love.
Thank you, G. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hi, Sanon.
Miss, I think
Thank-
I should have a question. You know, so sorry, I think the team is not responding. I think I got some errors in this. So actually, Miss, is there any, you know, for completing these requirements? I think I should know the method, the procedure about, you know, how to work with this apps Jira.
So you see the tracker that I put into the team, in the Teams chat? You saw the
Uh,
link, right?
oh yeah, I saw the link.
Yeah.
I
So in that link, there's videos, right? Catch up
yeah.
on all the videos. There's a video, that first video that shows you, then there's going to be a video with Abdul that shows what he's interested in. There's videos that show you how to use Jira. And we did one session where I really explained what requirements gathering is. Then they basically went and worked on it. And this is the session now to like see what people did. So if you watch those sessions, it will provide you with a lot of clarity and understanding what we're doing, and then we can align and basically make sure that you understand what's happening. So maybe watch some of the videos first, and then we can align. We'll double check, right? I feel like let's find out as well if from Abdul's team, a few other people is interested. We obviously gonna have to fast track you guys somehow, right? We're gonna have to make sure that you guys catch up, but not in this extensive way. It's like maybe you understand it, and then we go to the next stage because I don't want you guys behind, right? So watch the videos and catch up.
Okay, Miss. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Sanon. Thank you, sir. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, Miss. You also.
Thank you, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Sorry, I'm just gonna put on mute and give 2 seconds. Thank you. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Bye, Gidre.
Bye.
This is another center rock.